It's Miles.
Tr3bel.
It's the Make It Make Sense podcast.
Yeah.
Tr3bel, how are you?
I'm good, bro. I'm alive, so I can't complain, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, you hit me up last night, and unfortunately, I sleep early because I'm a little bit older and a little bit lazier, maybe. But you said you saw something very interesting, so I can't wait to hear what I missed.
I seen the UFO, man.
Okay.
Hey, y'all don't know if y'all can hear that live, but as soon as I said it, there was this dog outside. I was like, what the fuck this nigga talking about?
Maybe a spy dog.
Maybe. Who knows? You know, but on the real tip, I did see a UFO last night.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds crazy because people might be like, why are they starting off the episode with this? And there's other people who are going to be like, oh, they talking. Mm-hmm. But first thing first, before I get into it, I do want to specify what a UFO is.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people, when they think the term UFO, they think strictly extraterrestrials from another planet coming down and flying in their spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what a UFO is. Sorry, I had to.
And didn't they actually change the abbreviation to something else? The government did a weird thing where they no longer say UFOs.
Oh, man. Yeah, you got me on the spot because I was supposed to remember this. It always slips my mind, but they do. I think it's called the UAP or UAP.
Yeah. We can come back to that
or something like that.
I think that might be it.
Yes, he is right. They changed it. They changed the term because you do see a lot of extraterrestrials flying, but the truth came out about what also you see, which they passed off as extraterrestrials, and it's just like what we were talking about in the previous episode about the level of technology that the government has in comparison to what we have. They be testing out different stuff, and that's what we seeing. That's what we witnessing. Mm-hmm. So it's easy for them to just say, "Oh yeah, alien. We ain't got no tech like that." Mm-hmm. So
then they test it out nationwide, like across the whole U.S.
Hell yeah, and then you got certain hotbeds like Florida, California, Alaska is like hotbed city.
Do you think that's because we're all by water? Which I think we're learning that water has a significant importance to extraterrestrials, maybe even to the point where they dock and land inside the ocean and hang out there.
Well, that's not a question. They do that. So, okay, let me get back to that. Cause
For sure. Go ahead. I want to hear what you experienced, though.
Okay, yeah, I do too, but I feel like we got to explain these definitions first, and then it make things understandable. I feel like when people watching it, they can digest it from a real perspective, not some like random, this guy just said he seen a UFO.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's true. You got to set the table.
What is a UFO? So a UFO is an unidentified flying object, and that does not specifically classify it as being an extraterrestrial craft. It could be totally terrestrial. You just never seen it before, so you can't identify it. Or the average pilot, aviator might have never seen this type of technology being wielded just in the open, so it's unidentified because you can't classify it.
Okay. All right. Got it.
So I say that to say what I seen last night was like, so I've seen multiple types of UFOs before. Like I can describe them and all, but the one I seen last night, it was a triangular shape, and it looked like 3 stars, just like almost in a pyramid format. 1 star at the top, then you got your 2 coinciding stars that look like stars on the bottom, and there's like 1 little star that off kicks to the side. And it just, but when you look around the sky, it ain't nothing else next to it. Nothing. But the whole sky is full of stars. Just this area is just this little cluster of stars.
And to you, at first glance, it looked like just a cluster of stars in a weird pattern?
Yes and no.
Or was it moving?
Yes and no. No, it wasn't moving.
Okay.
But the reason it caught my attention is because this isn't the first time I've seen this formation. I've seen it live. I was with shout out to the Primetime Nino. I don't know if he watch our podcast, but you know he do music around here too. We go
shout out to Primetime Meet. What is it?
Nino, that's my boy.
Nino.
You know people be changing their rap names all the time, so I don't even know if that's his rap name anymore. We ain't talking a little minute, but that's my guy. You know,
PTM.
He's still doing things. You know what I mean? So But I was at the studio with him one night, and I
Mhm.
came out the studio with him and my guy Leo, the one.
Mhm.
And I looked in the sky and I seen the same thing, and I pointed it out to them, and they were able to see it too. So,
The same pattern.
mhm.
Wow. Okay.
But that experience was years before this.
Okay.
So when I seen it again, I was kind of like, And then also I had seen what we talked about the Arizona UFO
Mhm.
and how similar that looked to that.
Mhm.
And we'll get to that a little bit later. But when I seen it, it was kind of like, interesting.
Mhm.
I'm walking to the corner store. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful night. Honestly, the weather was perfect.
It really was.
But
Yeah.
I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Mhm.
Like, it was just a certain energy that it had. And when you raise your frequencies to a certain level individually, you pick up on frequencies a lot easier.
Mhm. Mhm.
As I'm looking at it, there's a lot of airplanes flying like damn near right underneath it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so
So
it's at an elevation way above where airplanes are traveling, essentially.
yes.
Okay.
So it should be stars.
Uh-huh.
I have footage, you know what I mean? I'll
Mhm.
show you off air.
Mhm.
But it looks like stars, but again, when you know what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It
You
just,
pick up on it.
it just don't look right. Why is it this little clutch? And I ain't never seen a constellation shaped like that. But
Mhm.
there's never show me a constellation that's shaped like a pyramid.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't know. If anybody would know, you would know. So I trust you.
So I started walking to the corner store.
Mhm.
As I'm walking to the corner store, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna put my theory to the test. If this is actually just a group of stars, it would still be at least in the same general vicinity when
Sure.
I get back.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be right over the store when I get back.
Mhm.
It was.
So it moved. You could tell the location it moved.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
okay, like if I see the sun, right,
Mhm.
it's right there. I can point to it, and if I drive my car, I can keep my finger pointed at its direction.
Right.
Stars are supposed to be the same. They don't move that fast.
Interesting.
But at the same time, you can't physically see it moving with your naked eye.
Right. So at this point now, you're fully invested in what is going on. I see something's happening.
Well, I know what's going on. I ain't gonna go too.
Oh, you already
crazy.
picked up on it at this point.
I
You
know
knew.
why I seen it. Like it's time for you to start seeing stuff like that.
I almost took that point to ask if somebody was a robot, but I'm not going to do it. It felt like that was the moment, but I'm not going to do it.
No,
the true fans know who's a robot. That's all I'm going to say.
So I want to say this though, because you say that. So outside of
Yes!
robot, there's a funny story that it's funny to me because I'm like sciencey and techie and stuff. So there's this book that came out written by a man named Norman Bergum.
Okay.
Bergum. I hope I said your name right. If I didn't, I apologize.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if he's still alive because he was really old.
Mhm.
But he was one of the original physicists at NASA that was guiding the trip to the moon per se. And he was the one who was directly in charge of the back channel line that they had with Buzz Aldrin and the other astronauts, where they can tell them things off air.
Oh, and they hear it, but not on air.
They did it through Morse code.
Oh, okay.
So they could send them messages that they could just read.
Yeah.
And this is fact. You can look it up.
Okay.
And they can send them messages that they could just read about things they were seeing and experiencing out in space that they didn't want to necessarily tell the entire world about.
Yeah.
Well, first thing that they noticed, they were like, hey, we see this thing that keeps flying by our spaceship. We don't know what it is. And we don't know how the hell it can even be flying that fast in space.
This is during the iconic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then they get there. This is where things get so effing crazy because this is written in the book, and the name of the book is called The Ringmakers of Saturn. So when they get there, the story has it is that you get this one small step for man, one giant step for mankind.
Giant leap for mankind.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Sorry.
One step for man and then a little bit bigger of a step for mankind.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Neil.
You have no patience for that joke. All right, go ahead.
No,
Go
no, no,
ahead.
no, 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 no. No, you good. I just ain't want to say it wrong because you know how like some people be so patriotic.
Yeah.
They'll like cancel your whole show because you said Neil Armstrong favorite saying like famous line wrong.
Yeah.
I mess up sometimes too. Nonetheless.
Yeah. Hey, if you feel that way, fuck off, right? All right, let's move on.
All right, we'll say it, I get there. Nonetheless,
I said it, mylzmedia.com. Go ahead.
So basically they get there and we get the whole story of the giant leap and all of that.
Yes.
And that's pretty
Still
much,
don't know what the quote is, but go ahead.
And and that's pretty much the extent of the story that we get. That was just that. They did a little explorations, they sent some rocks back, and boom, we come back from the moon.
Some think it didn't happen, but discussion for another day. Yeah.
So, yes. Well, yeah, we might say the full in-depth discussion of the moon and all of that. But
I would love to hear your opinion, but I don't want to sidetrack.
Well, we're going to talk about it to a degree because this is, again, the reason I even got there is because you made the joke about somebody possibly being a robot. Yeah. We were also talking about UFOs.
We know who.
And all of this ties into like just it's hard to like put in words, but it all ties together. Okay. So they get there. When they get on the moon, they're not the only ones on the moon. There's already spaceships on the moon. This is Buzz Aldrin's word.
Buzz said this?
Buzz Aldrin. And this guy, Norman Bergen, backs it up in his book because he was the one that got the Morse code, like, hold the fuck up. We just landed. Should we get off the ship? It's already people here. What do you mean it's already people here, NASA says? Buzz is like, yo, it's already people here. There are already spaceships lined up along a crater, and it looks like people are standing outside waiting on us to get out.
He said people, not aliens. People.
He said people. Listen to this here. So, literally, Norman Bergen's words are that when they got out, the people that they greeted were 7-foot tall black men.
Okay.
That's something wild that you would think you would have heard about. I mean, the guy who was the leading physicist at NASA at the time is the one who was, you got to be skeptical to be that mathematical. So even he was like, what are you saying right now? He's like, look, this is what I'm saying.
And he said black men. He didn't say specifically they must have looked convincingly like black human beings.
Like regular humans. They did not look like aliens, and this is the story of the Ringmakers of Saturn. I don't want to get too far down that path. Okay. But the story is based on the people who created the rings around Saturn, and those being the same people that we met on the moon that told us, hey, don't come back.
Wow, yeah, that's a whole nother path. So how does that tie into your experience?
So that ties into the joke about certain people being robots, but also just getting the idea that what we see, what we think of when we think of an extraterrestrial, the same way when we think of a UFO directly tied to an extraterrestrial. What if when we see an alien for the first time, they don't look nothing like what we were told aliens look like? They look like you and me. What would a person react like then?
They probably wouldn't believe it, right?
Right. It would be absurd. So once you start understanding those concepts, then you can start getting down the idea of why you might be seeing UFOs, why you experience this occurrence over and over and over again. When you go down a certain spiritual path, your spirit guides all of your senses. So once you reach a certain frequency level, you start seeing things nobody else around you will see. You'll start seeing things like hawks. You'll see a hawk show up all of the time. They'll just land on the power line or land on the
Did I tell you that's the one that's always hovering around me? I think we talked about this. That's the only animal, every time I look up, there's always hawks. I thought it was just a Florida thing.
No. Everybody doesn't see them that commonly, and there's a reason. Hawks represent wisdom and like basically path guidance. They're like a spirit guide. They're letting you know you're on your right path. So if you see a hawk consistently in your life, you genuinely are on your right path. Bald eagles are like that same omen, but a little heavier. Like, yo, you really
Really on that
yeah.
shit. Yeah.
So unless you're like,
Got
and
that
then
bald
again, if
eagle.
you're like then again, people are like bird watchers and they can go to a specific place where they know they're gonna see a bald
Yeah,
eagle.
but
That's not
the
the same. I want to clarify that.
Yeah.
So if you're just in your everyday life, though, I like going to look at birds.
I'm kidding.
I took that offensively.
I'm sorry.
He hurt my feelings, y'all.
I don't believe that.
Back to what we was talking about.
Yes.
So basically, I see this thing, and when I get out of the store, I'm walking back, and it's like not directly over the store, but it's nowhere near where it was when I originally left my house.
Okay.
And then slowly it just
whoa, slowly
further away. By the time I got back to where I was going, it's not in the same spot it was, but it's further away.
And so did you show me, should I pull up an image of what you thought you saw? Is that what we have here?
Yeah, you can do that real quick. So what he's about to pull up is what is known as the Tr3b. And I know that there's Tr3b in my name, but that was not coincidental. I mean, that was not intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, wait. Before I go there, the first video we're about to see is not necessarily the Tr3b. We don't know what the fuck this is, but it is a representation of the type of things that you can see.
What is this that we're looking at right now on the screen?
Okay, so from my knowledge, this is Arizona, 1991. People experience seeing something in the sky to the point to where it covered so much space that nobody could deny what it was. Now, if you see see how the stars are lining, they got that one little star off to the side. Could you see it?
Yes.
So it was similar to what I seen. Mine was definitely a much, much smaller version.
Do you see it here? So this is kind of what you think you saw, or you saw.
Just a different variation, different shape of the same type of shit.
Oh, okay. It looks like it's much bigger than you would think, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights, and then way off to the left there's this light, which would mean this whole landscape, this whole thing. Look at the lights at the bottom. It's just blur. Those are
massive.
Okay.
The Space Force chief, whoever commander, just came out and said expect Earth to start taking on threats from outer space. Expect us to start fighting outer space threats. So how do you fight an outer space threat without outer space capabilities and weaponry that can fight outer space? You need ships that can fight just like theirs can.
Yeah.
So understand that some of the stuff you're seeing is just our American government testing things out, and that leads us to the next point, which is the Tr3b.
Is that this?
Yes, you can pull up the Tr3b.
So that's this right here. Can you explain what we're looking at?
The Tr3b is, I won't say the first, but it is the most prominently known extraterrestrial craft that we thought was extraterrestrial that has been pinpointed to be created by the government. It is reverse engineered from extraterrestrial craft. This can be backed by Bob Lazar, and Phil Schneider, another guy. Stephen Greer is another guy. They don't specifically speak on the Tr3b itself, but they speak on the process of reverse engineering extraterrestrial crafts and things like that.
Bob Lazar, I've heard his. It's again, I'm a big Rogan fan, if no one can gather that at this episode. But he unpacked it, and it was fascinating. I went and watched the Netflix. Did you see that?
Amazing.
Isn't that crazy? So this is one of the things that he described, this design that we're looking at right here.
I don't know if he specifically described that design, but he did describe the process of how they reverse engineered tech and how you seen things similar to this shape that they use, that we think of the shape of an extraterrestrial craft, a UFO being an extraterrestrial. Nah, it's really just your government officials testing out high level tech, seeing if it works and if it doesn't. This Tr3b that people were looking at is proven, and you can look it up on government file, that it was a government official craft, not an extraterrestrial, not an alien whatsoever.
And do you think this is a battleship, you think?
That leads back to what I was just saying just now. I think it is a surveillance ship, which is what I witnessed yesterday. Not saying that it's necessarily there to survey me for all you old stick up
Mhm.
your ass people that think everything is solely about me or
Right.
the aliens trying to suck our brains. Or
Mhm.
I think it's a bigger thing. Like we talked about the energy in Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
I think that you gotta have something pretty powerful to keep this kind of energy on a city this damn long. What you see, I think, is an example of a surveillance ship. So
Mhm.
when you looking in the sky and you see stars that might look a little weird, do your research. You might be right.
Damn, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, speaking of surveillance, have you heard of a thing called Moxie, the doll, the helper? It's being pitched as the toy that cost over $1,000 that you can purchase, and they're leaning into autistic children that need to understand motor skills, communication skills, like the basic things that maybe if you're autistic, you don't quite, you have a hard time understanding. Just let me know what you think about this before I tell you what I think about this.
Riley. Hi. There's someone here who wants to meet you.
My name is Moxie. I'm a new robot. What is your name?
I'm Riley.
Would you read a story to me?
Wow.
Breathing exercises always help me relax. Riley, we have a new mission. Would you make a drawing for me?
Okay.
Is this kid supposed to have a mental disability or is he just a regular kid?
It kind of seems like he's slightly autistic, but they don't really clarify it.
Understood.
I'm so excited.
Moxie
What
look
happened?
autistic. We ain't gonna go
He said
there.
he didn't want to play with me anymore.
Thank you for telling me about your day. Sometimes holding a friend's hand makes me feel better. Do you want to try squeezing my hand? For this mission, you'll need to talk to one of your friends about what makes them happy, and then tell me all about it. Are you ready?
This is extreme.
I'm ready. Mom, you have a new mission. We're gonna talk about things that make us happy.
We have a new mission.
Bye, Moxie.
See you
We're
soon.
eliminating parents.
That part.
Yeah, you go first so I can adjust.
Okay, man.
Okay.
I just think first off, what you said is a way to replace parents. And again, before I dive into the negative that I feel about it, I do want to highlight.
Is
some
that
of
the
positive.
immediate feeling you get is, what the fuck?
You know what the first thing I thought about, bro? Have you ever seen Big Hero 6 with your kids?
Yes! That's what that was. Art, what do they say? Art imitating life?
Yes. That's Big Hero 6 before they get the big Bayabacks version to start walking around your damn house.
That's little bitch Hero 6? Bitch Hero 4?
I don't know what she is. I thought she was gonna say meow.
Oh, you think that's a female?
It's not?
I don't know.
I mean, it has a female.
It's ambiguous.
Okay, no.
It sounds like a little boy.
To me, and could be wrong, but they've proven that women, voice have natural nurture nature to it.
I believe that. I'm a mama's boy. I believe that.
So they definitely. Oh yeah, I love my mama too. Hey mama.
Mhm.
I don't even think my mama be watching this. Nonetheless, hey mama.
I know my mom don't watch it. I laugh to not cry. Go ahead.
But
so the little sexy robot you said, you thought that they look like sound like a sexy
I
girl?
didn't say nothing about sexy. It's like it's supposed to sound like a Chinese nurse, like not even trying to be funny. Like okay,
but
in certain countries though they be on their ass about how your presentation supposed to be a certain way in your job.
I think that's probably correct though,
Like,
right?
yeah,
As a nurse, you should be. I mean, that's a sensitive position.
They be like robots over there though. Like they don't even be playing. Like, boy, you need me to get you to this triage, boy. We on the way. Like they don't even be playing, dog. They probably got like
We on the way.
I ain't even gonna go down that path. But
so you're
Moxie.
so your knee jerk reaction, which was mine, I think, is that as a parent, I'm going to be completely transparent to a bunch of people that don't know me and judge me probably incorrectly, but I'm going to do it because I don't really care. Is that I do use tools at certain points to entertain my kids. My daughter, well, she's older. My son, when he was younger, they had phones, and to some degree, it was a bad decision. And then, but when it was good, it was great, right? And then you can say I was brought up with video games, and that wasn't great. Well, I mean, for me, it wasn't great because I didn't become like a great video game player.
You salty.
I could have been better, but also I was given guitars and I was giving drums, and now, thank God, because that helped me express all the emotions that as an adult I still battle with, but I'm equipped with ways to express these feelings. So there's good in that too. So now to get to Moxie, I don't know what to feel because I do see there's always a yin and yang in everything that happens.
Yes.
So yes, if you're a kid that's antisocial, which is becoming more and more apparent, more and more kids and people might have been designed. I don't know, but that's what's happening in society now. You give them a little doll that looks cute, that doesn't act too weird and clunky. Like it ain't my buddy and fucking Teddy Ruxpin and all these real clunky things. Like it's actually really good. And sure, if you're trying to teach a kid motor skills, I don't even know if motor skills is the right word, but teaching them like social skills, that is a great tool if it's used leaning into positivity and leading into that. But
yes, and see, that's something I wanted to say earlier too. I kind of got sidetracked. That all technology is not bad. My biggest thing is I feel like the usage of the people that are implementing most of it is.
Yes.
But I totally agree with you that I think we need to be more synonymous with technology because we can't avoid the future that's coming. We have to find ways to hold the people accountable for how they're using that technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not necessarily bad in
selling
general.
the technology. That's the scary thing
selling
too.
The info they get out of the technology, and that's
selling the info
the bad
as well.
side of something like Moxie.
Yeah.
You doing all of this talking, like what's the first thing it said? Oh, teach me this, tell me that.
Yes,
it learns it. Where does this info go?
And it is true, but it does need to learn to become more personal. But where does that information flow to? So let me ask you, because I honestly really do value your opinion. I think you think outside of boxes that I normally dwell in. What can we do to protect ourselves? What do you think we can do to protect ourselves to where we don't fall victim? Because I'm going to be real with you. Like me, I'm very passive. Like just like with the phones and with the other stuff. Like I was just like, I'm kind of a creature of the moment in a way. So I don't think about I don't know the game plan of the sadistic people behind creating the things that I consume and my children consume. So what do you think? What do you think could be a way we can protect ourselves?
So first off, I'm a parent too, for those who might not know.
Fantastic parent, by the way.
Thank you. That means a lot to me, bro. Like out of anything I could be in the world, being a good parent is like top of the list.
You love your kid?
With all my heart.
You're a fantastic parent.
So with that being said, my daughter uses electronics. The way
kind of changing my opinion now. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
So the way that you combat it though is being aware yourself. Every game ain't bad, but some of those games got shit going on that you should be aware of, and your kid should not be able to play any game that you don't know how each level look. When they get to a new level, they should want to come tell you what the new level is. So you looking at it, okay, what this person talking about? Do you know? I ask those questions. My daughter is 3, and she'll be like, "No, questions. I don't know." Wow. Okay, well, you should know what somebody talking about. You know what I'm telling you? Yes. She doesn't know everything. I don't expect her to actually know everything. Sure. But it drills that thought in her mind that what somebody says matters.
Yes.
So they start paying attention to what they're saying. She came to me, matter of fact, and I don't normally ever talk about my daughter like that too much. I'm very discreet about. I love having those one-on-one moments where. But yeah, I was saying, man, like my daughter came to me the other day and she was telling me about. She was like, "Hey, daddy, I seen this thing." He said, "Tomo tita, tomo tita," and it's an alien. And he said, "Tomo tita."
What?
I said, "Wait, yeah, exactly." I said, "Hold on, time out. What? What are you time out? Hold on. I know I'm Mr. Conspiracy Guy, but what?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "It's on YouTube." It's on YouTube. Domo tutatita. Domo tutatita alien. And he dances and he's funny. So I was like, okay. So I tried to type in whatever the hell. Domo tutatita.
You tried to spell that shit?
Yeah, bro. I tried to spell that shit. I'm like, what the hell is she talking about? So when I get on there, though, I find the video and there's the green alien. I think it's saying Domo Comasita. I can't exactly say what it was saying, but it's Spanish.
Domo Conocita. Yeah, it's Spanish. It sounds Spanish.
It translated to give me your little thing.
Oh, no.
She doesn't know. She's 3. She's just watching the video that she's seen from another kid that her older brother was watching. He doesn't know what they're saying because he doesn't know Spanish either. And the way it sounds, you know how reggaeton is if you ever listen to it. Right. It got a catchy ass beat.
Yeah, it's great. But why though? Why is it saying that?
This is my point, and that's the only thing it says.
Is this thing that she saw geared towards children, or was it?
It looks like it's like cartoony. It's a little cartoon alien. He's just standing there dancing, doing funny dances, and saying it in Spanish.
Okay.
But again, a lot of parents would hear that and say that's funny. I know a lot of parents would. And I'm not trying to say, hey, I'm better than other parents because I did this. Nah, but it's just an example of what you can do to be aware of what's going on. You see something like that, explore it.
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a perfect spot to end.
All right, man.
All right. Love you. Till next time.